Recently, our friend asked us to help pick out wines for a wedding.
And if you're anything like the countless people online who are asking the same question, you know that this is a FAWQ.
This is a frequently asked wine question.
So the first step for us was to think about the different categories of wine that we needed.
And we decided, since it was a daytime outdoor wedding, we decided to do 2/3 white and rosé and then 1/3 red, and that ended up being about right. We ended up having more red left over and not very much white and rosé.
And then the other thing to consider is what other beverages are there and how many people are going to be reaching for wine over a seltzer or a beer or a cocktail. And when you have that kind of sense, then you can start to figure out how many bottles that you need. The general rule is around 2 glasses per person, so 1 bottle for every 2 people. But you also have to consider how long the event is. If it's a longer event, you might want to consider going 2.5 glasses.
3 glasses?
3 glasses. What better way to kind of walk you through the decision-making process than to show you some of the wines that we picked and tell you why we picked them.
So the first wine we decided to go with is a classic New Zealand Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc.
So this wine here, this Sauvignon Blanc, is a perfect example of what we call a versatile wine. And when we're picking wines for weddings, we want something that's versatile. We want something that a lot of people are going to like.
Like, you don't want a love it or hate it type.
Yeah, you want something that people could just have in their glass and drink and have fun and really not think too much about.
Yeah, because the event's not about the wine, right? Like, it's about the couple, it's about the wedding, so.
Some other similar wines to check out, like go check out some Vino Verdes, check out some Albariños. Rías Baixas is a great option as well. Really any wine that's got some like medium plus acidity, that's not too tart, too puckery, but has those kind of like nice fruity, simple tropical notes. Wine number 2 is a Côtes de Gascogne Rosé. So this is from the south of France. We picked a rosé because you gotta have a rosé.
And we especially had to have a rosé because it was going to be 90 degrees, it was a daytime wedding, and we thought people are going to want their rosé.
If it's outdoors, if it's hot, give them something refreshing, give them something light, something to just sip on.
Yeah, we were looking for something low in sugar, low in alcohol, just nice and bright, fruity, refreshing.
Wine number 3 is a Barbera d'Asti from Piedmont, Italy.
A lot of people like to do like a Pinot Noir at their wedding, and this can be a similar sort of light-bodied, nice with food type wine without being as expensive.
I think that's a really important consideration with red wines. You can go the heavier route, you can get a Cab Sauv, a Syrah, a Zinfandel, but you kind of box yourself in. I mean, if the meal is something heavy, if you're having red meat, then totally go for those wines. But if you want a wine that will pair with all the appetizers, with chicken and with fish even, like go for something that has that high acid, that is simple, that has that fruit, and you really cannot go wrong.
So we actually didn't do toasts at this wedding, and they didn't cut a cake. They cut a pizza instead.
But getting bubbly is super important for a lot of weddings, and so we wanted to make sure that we talked about it. These represent 2 different options for sparkling wine that you can pick depending on when you will be drinking it. This Crémant de Bordeaux it's dry. And so if this is a wine that you're serving alongside the toasts, then you should think of it as an aperitif. You should think of it as a wine that's kind of getting people's appetite going. They're getting them ready for the meal.
Something light.
Yeah. And so any Crémant is a really great option from France because if it says Crémant, then it's made in the same way that champagne is made, but doesn't cost as much as champagne does.
Yeah. Dr. Lucen is kind of a classic example of like a yummy, cost-sensitive Riesling. Kind of the classic mistake with cake and champagne is people get a dry champagne that's not sweet at all, and then with the cake, it tastes really bitter and bad.
The general rule is you want your wine to be sweeter than the dish. So if you are serving it with cake, you might even want something sweeter than this, but a sparkling wine like this will go great if you're serving it with a meal. Wish me luck. Last thing we want to say is if you have any questions, if you are picking wines for a wedding, for your own wedding, for a friend's wedding, and you have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and we will get back to you about those.
And if you have any other FAWQs, frequently asked wine questions, please do let us know and we will make a video answering them.
All right, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.